Well, I want to thank everybody for being here this morning. I want to thank the Tech Grove for hosting this event. We are happy to be here. My name is James Ferraro. I'm representing AIT, Adaptive Immersion Technologies. Today I'm presenting our technology of autonomous systems training for unmanned aerial refueling. So quickly about the company, we are a small business based actually in Tampa, Florida. I thankfully am local, so this was very easy for me. And we specialize in game-based and simulation-based training and assessment largely for the DoD. We have had multiple SBIR projects over the years, but today I will be presenting, as I mentioned, on our human performance assessment in automated and autonomous systems. So a quick intro about the technology, what we were contracted to do. Ultimately, the goal was to minimize risk, reduce human error, and optimize performance in unmanned aircraft operations, really by tying into the upper or higher level cognitive skills that manifest in performance in those kinds of tasks. So we were tasked to create adaptive training for multiple mission domains for unmanned aircraft. These include ISR, pattern of life, strike and search and rescue, and the unmanned aerial refueling that I'll be talking about most of today. So the goal here was to optimize assessment and selection of unmanned aircraft operators by assessing the proper areas of performance and again tying into those higher level cognitive skills. So what we proposed and what we developed was a simulation-based mission rehearsal platform for all the mission types that I described, but again training the cognitive skills related to the MQ-25 operations for unmanned aerial refueling and other unmanned aircraft operations. The key benefits here were to train those significantly novel skills because unmanned aerial refueling is a very new task. There aren't people that have been doing it for years. They're still really learning how to do this kind of task. So it really is a novel mission domain. We wanted to create more efficient and accurate selection of these operators and reduce the time that it takes to find someone qualified and get them up to speed, which ultimately reduces costs and reduces the probability of any catastrophic failures. So sustained attention training for unmanned and remote navigation, Saturn was the name of the platform that we developed. The key highlights of this platform were it presenting as an adaptable virtual platform for training unmanned aircraft operators in specifically unmanned aerial refueling missions. Underlying this technology was an automated scenario generation capability where we could rapidly generate new, unique, challenging scenarios for the operators, creating new challenges for them and preventing them from getting bogged down or bored with whatever they were presented with. And ultimately, the technology and performance assessment framework in the background was collecting data on how they were performing in interaction with micro challenges presented within each unique scenario. So what we created again was this on-demand mission rehearsal platform. And we had actually been in contact with the MQ-25 community semi-regularly over the last few years. And we've heard straight from them some of the specific requirements and the needs that they have as they aim to ramp up their training for unmanned aerial refueling missions. Things like creating air plans, learning to read fuel ladders, evaluate the tank states, managing multiple unmanned aircraft at once. It's an attentional challenge in itself. And ultimately learning these new and novel procedures. I was actually at TSIS this week, and we heard straight from leadership that there is a need to train for the MQ-25. We also heard that there's a need to leverage and collect the performance data that they use and find insights in a meaningful way, use that data for future training. And that's where another innovation for our platform comes into play, because what we provide is adaptive assessment. So underlying each of our training scenarios in the background, we're assessing their performance in all these individual dimensions of cognitive performance. And after a scenario is completed, we have algorithms to generate a new, uniquely challenging scenario based on the strengths and the weaknesses of that particular trainee at that moment in time. So again, our goal is to create training that they want to return to. So in this way, we keep them from getting bogged down by something that might be boring to them, that they've seen 1,000 times. And we also prevent them from seeing something that's too challenging so they don't get discouraged and never want to return to the training again. So in this way, we can create thousands of new, unique scenarios for any individual's operator's needs, optimize that learning curve, and get them on track as quickly as possible. So the Saturn assessment is part of a larger battery of selection and recruitment platforms that we have as part of our Stealth Adapt operator selection battery. So this is kind of a curriculum for selecting and recruiting unmanned aircraft operators. So we have the game-based, the cognitive assessment, which is Saturn, which I just described, where they're participating in a game-based task and we're measuring their performance in multiple ways. But we also have the personality or non-ability assessment to see how that manifests in performance. And we account for biographical, history-related things about the individual to hopefully identify a pipeline and find the optimal person and get them in the right position as quickly as possible. So within this larger curriculum, they have a very adaptable scenario capability where the instructor can create a scenario if they'd like. They have the adaptive technology running in the background that can provide either instructor-led or instructorless training that allows for rapid manipulation of the scenario to maybe meet conditions that have been represented in real life that present a challenge, or something where the instructor is out of the loop and the trainee can sit down, run through these scenarios that have been optimized for them and get them on track. So obviously, as we look to transition from our phase 2 to a phase 3, we see our primary customer as the MQ-25 community. As I mentioned, we've heard straight from them that there is an interest in the technology. We know what their higher level requirements are, and we know that there is a need to get the unmanned aerial refueling operators up to speed as quickly as possible. But in addition to the unmanned refueling missions that we do have the ISR, the strike, pattern of life, and the search and rescue. So this platform is extendable to essentially all unmanned aircraft platforms. From any other aircraft that may be performing these kinds of missions, we can support and provide our adaptive scenario generation capabilities to support those missions. With that, I just have some quick images from the platform. Of course, I am set up over there, so you are welcome to come see a demonstration of some of the technology that we have on hand. Just some higher level renders of some of the mission types that we've generated in the past. This is the unmanned aerial refueling platform that I have actually a live demo of. And here's how you can contact me. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. That's all I have.